A couple of days ago, I told everybody that the narrative of the story had changed. Now, we get further confirmation that the narrative of the story has changed. I'm going to play a clip for y'all. After the clip, I'm going to come back with my commentary on it. It might not be what you think it is.
Good afternoon. This is Mary Murphy. I'm in the Pix 11 newsroom, and you know that we have been following all the developments on the murder investigation. The victim was Junior. That's how we all know him. Lesandro Guzman Feliz. We broke the story on Sunday that all the suspects were being rounded up in Paterson, New Jersey, and many of you saw me report that story from my dining room table. Now I'm at work. We have a lot of new information this morning. Not everyone is happy hearing about this information, but we are getting it from a senior law enforcement source who knows a lot about the investigation and has talked to people close to the scene on what happened that night on June 20th. And the narrative, the backstory about what happened to Junior is changing. Here's what we're hearing about what happened that night, Wednesday, June 20th. The law enforcement investigators are hearing that he was walking to the bodega and that he saw 3 cars cruising the streets. And apparently he got nervous and started running. And so then what happened was the people in the cars, there were 9 or 10 of them, we're told, they started giving chase. And that's when you see that surveillance footage of Junior going into the bodega on Bathgate Avenue and East 183rd Street. And he tries to jump over the counter. And initially the owner let him hide behind the counter. But then the suspects come in and they look so vicious and they're carrying knives. And they drag him out by his hood. And that's when the attack started on the sidewalk. And then you see that other surveillance of Junior stumbling back in. He's already been stabbed. And apparently he asked for a cup of water. And then we're told it was a customer who told Junior to get out of the store. And he managed to get to the hospital that was like across the street. And he died from this mortal wound in his neck shortly after. Now, we know that much of the circumstances with the machete, with the knives. But what's coming out now is that it may not have been about a sex tape. Now, that's the story that's been widely reported. And law enforcement, before they had the suspects in custody, thought that maybe it was about a sex tape and revenge. There was talk that one of the gang members' sisters was featured in this tape and that people thought that Junior was featured in this video, and it was not him. And then there was the story that one of the gang members made an apology to Junior's family. Sorry, we got the wrong guy. But here are all my notes that I took today after I got a lot of information starting last night into this morning. Here are the notes I took from someone who's very familiar with the investigation, and this is what is being said. I'm told that video has nothing to do with the murder, that the narrative has changed. What I'm told is that there were Trinitarios gang members who were cruising the streets that night looking for other Trinitarios in a rival set. That's like a crew. In other words, they have sets in this gang. It's a Dominican gang, and each set sometimes fights with the other and gets vicious with the other and sometimes kills each other. But they are sets within the Trinitarios gang. So I'm told that this one set went out looking for another set called Sunset. And that when Junior saw these cars, he apparently got scared, and when he ran, these suspects made the assumption that he was a rival, that he belonged to this other set, because no members of this Sunset group were known to live in the Belmont section of the Bronx. So that's set into motion this whole series of events. And the source really wanted to emphasize it didn't have to do with the sex tape. He said that Junior essentially was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Another story that I'm hearing now from this law enforcement source is that he wasn't lured to the bodega under false pretenses, that he had $5 that he wanted to give to someone in the bodega for food. This is new information. Now, you have to remember in investigations, sometimes the story changes based on the witnesses that you're talking to. And I'm being led to believe that there are witnesses very close to the scene of where this all went down who know the backstory and what the impetus was for Junior to be set upon and to be attacked with the machete and with the knives. Okay, so let me look at my notes here. I said about the paying back of the money. Also, we've seen that heartbreaking video, the surveillance footage, over and over again of when Junior was trying to hide behind the counter inside the bodega. What I'm told is that when the gang members came in, they said to the owner and other people in the store, he robbed my grandmother, he shot my mother. You know, they were saying all these nasty things about Junior so they could get at him, and drag him out of the store. And ultimately, these suspects succeeded, because you see that heartbreaking footage of when he's dragged out by his hood and he's trying to hold on to the front door so they can't get him out on the sidewalk. But he failed to be able to hold on for dear life, and that's when the attack took place outside on the sidewalk. The investigator I spoke to said he believes that the owner of the bodega is getting a bum rap. You know, he said that 911 was called. I know many people are saying it wasn't called fast enough. The other thing is, he points out that these 8 suspects are all in jail now because the owner of this bodega had a great surveillance system. He invested in a lot of money in getting fantastic cameras, and those cameras got crystal clear pictures of these suspects, and they were brought in within a few days. And as you know, Pix 11 broke the story Sunday afternoon that the suspects, many of them, were rounded up at a safe house or a hideout of the Trinitarios gang in Paterson, New Jersey. And we also had reported on Sunday that one of the gang members had managed to flee to the Dominican Republic, but he turned himself into authorities. He is back in New York City now. So right now we have a total of 8 gang members that are charged with murder and manslaughter and gang assault, but we hear that others are still being looked for. So it's not over. These investigators are still looking for other people in connection with this case. And as I mentioned earlier, the rival crew that apparently was the target of the suspect's wrath is called Sunset. That's the latest information I have. Pix 11 News, our team of reporters and producers and cameramen, we're working on a special report tonight at 10:30 p.m. About the Junior case. This has touched not only people in the city, but people in the Caribbean, people around the world who have seen this video of this teen desperately trying to hold on to life. His funeral was held this week. There has been some kind of a scholarship that has been set up in Junior's name and his honor. There was an artist's rendition of Junior wearing his police explorer's outfit that also was drawn. He wanted to be a police detective, his mother said, when he got older. The Explorers group that he belonged to is for young people between the ages of 14 and 20. I see that many of you are writing comments, and I will read them. I am getting stories ready for the 5 and 6 o'clock news along with my colleagues. And I just want you to remember that when there is a serious murder investigation like this, stories change. They don't always stay the same. And there are a lot of witnesses that are being rounded up, not just people that are being accused of murder, but also witnesses. So there's a lot of information that more than a week after Junior's murder is still being gathered. I'll see you later on this evening at 5 o'clock. And thank you for joining us.
BBN, Jack Frost. What's up, party people? All right. As you just heard from WPIX 11, like I told you before, like that's basically the Bronx station in New York City, especially in the Bronx. I don't know if they play the same things in other boroughs, but I'm assuming that they do, and that's basically the Bronx station. So, they've been covering this, and this is where I get most of my information from. And like I told you before, the story has been changing. I've said this before. I previously made a video about how the story has been changing. That video is like the most hated video I've ever made for some strange reason. A lot of people come in and they like the coverage, but so many people come in and they argue about points that I'm trying to explain change from one thing to another. So I could just imagine the hate that this video is going to get, because people are going to listen to like 2 minutes of me talking and then go on to like a 30, 40, 50, 100 page, 100 word rant. Anyway, so As we heard from homegirl, homegirl. I mean, I forgot her name. But basically she has been in communications with somebody that is in depthly knowledgeable of the actual case. And they're saying that the story has changed. What they're saying happened is that, like I told you, there were some gang members riding around. They happened to see Lesandro Jr. And then upon seeing them, they gave chase. And the reason why they gave chase, supposedly, and I'm assuming that this information is coming directly from the individuals that gave chase, is because he ran. Now, real quick, I just want to explain something to y'all. This happens. A while back, I believe it was last summer, the last time this happened to me, because this has happened to me numerous times, where you're just walking down the block and a car might see you. Sometimes they circle the block. Sometimes they pull up to you and drive real slow. You understand what I'm saying? They do this. This happens. So I wouldn't be surprised if Junior was walking, minding his business, or somewhere minding his business, and a car pulled up real slow, and maybe somebody shouted something at him or said something to him. I wouldn't be surprised if this happened. Sometimes they just look and stare. The last time this happened to me, I was just walking on the block. I don't know if they was Dominicans or Puerto Ricans. Looked like they was Dominicans. They rolled up next to me, driving slow as shit. So I looked at them niggas. They looked back at me. The dude in the back seat was looking at me like weird. So I fucking stopped. I'm dead serious, not bullshitting you. I'm telling you exactly what happened. I stopped. And I looked at them, because whatever, nigga. Like, you gotta understand, right? First of all, this is the way I'm thinking. I don't got beef with nobody. So this shit gotta be mistaken identity. But I'm a grown adult. You understand what I'm saying? This is how I'm thinking. I'm not gonna outrun a car. And if there's 8, 9, 10 of them in that, well, they're not 10 of them in the car, but if they 3, 4 motherfuckers in the car, I'm not gonna probably outrun these niggas. I don't know, these niggas might be track stars. So fuck it. So I turn around and I stop. So then they pull off, they drive a little bit further down to the corner and they stop. So I'm walking. So one of the motherfuckers get out of the fucking car. I'm dead serious when I'm telling you this happened. One of the motherfuckers got out the car. Well, 2 of them got out the car, but one of the motherfuckers got out of the car and looked like he was walking towards the sidewalk. I kept walking. It is what it is. This first nigga about to get it. I got closer. The motherfuckers turned around, got back in the car, and drove off. So this is what could have happened to Junior. He was walking, or whatever he was doing. They rolled up on him. He a kid. He a little baby. He got scared and he ran, which is reasonable. Even if an adult would have got scared and they would have ran, that would have been reasonable. You understand what I'm saying? Especially knowing what we know about these people in hindsight. That would have been reasonable. All right, so that's the first point that I wanted to point out that I said and people was just attacking me for also. Another thing, once again, he was not bringing money to the girl. This is the story that's out now, all right? He wasn't bringing money to the girl because remember, there was that he was bringing money to the girl to go do whatever, to go back to the store, whatever the case is. She needed money to, I don't know, for whatever the hell, and he was being a good Samaritan and he was bringing it to her, whatever the case might be. They're saying that that's not it. He just owed the store money. For everybody that, I don't know, who hasn't gotten credit from a store that you know? I've gotten credit, especially when I was 10, 15, 20, not 20, but 15, 16 years old. I've gotten credit from the store. Especially stores that you know. They used to be the store around the block from us. I used to live on between 181st and 182nd and Park Avenue in the Bronx. And there was a store around the corner on Washington Avenue named Manny's. Store we grew up in. Well, not the store we grew up in, but that's the block I grew up in. And that was like the main store that I ever went to. Just got credit from them motherfuckers all the time when I was a kid. I was a kid. We also, at one time, I had family that lived on Hennessy Place over there next to Sedgwick, right off of Burnside Ave. Right? There's a store right there on the corner, down the block. What's that? West Burnside? I think that's West Burnside Ave. I forgot what that street is down there. But there's a right at the bottom of the hill, between Lauren Place and between Hennessy Place, there's a store right on the corner. Got tons of credit from that store before when I was a kid. People get credit from stores. It happens. That's all I'm saying. So this is plausible for people to just want to stay on the narrative. I'm not saying that the story about the girl isn't true, but remember, everybody, that shit happened 2 years ago. Please don't forget that. That shit happened 2 years ago. She was like 13 when she made that sex tape. That shit happened like 2 years ago. All right, so the next part of the story that just really sticks out to me is when Junior runs into the store, they're hiding him, or they're not letting these guys take them. These guys run into the store and say, yo, he shot my mother. He robbed my grandmother. Now, this is the part that I'm confused about. If these motherfuckers in the store know Junior and they know Junior, they know he didn't do none of this shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can look at this kid and know he ain't about that. Like, there's a lot of babyface killers out there. Don't get me wrong, but they supposed to know Junior. They know him. They know he's not about that life. So I'm not buying the whole giving him up to these dudes because they think that there's a chance that he went and shot somebody's mother or robbed somebody's grandmother. I'm personally not buying that shit. So I'm calling bullshit. Not that they didn't say that, but that's the reason why them dudes let him go. They know him. You understand? They know him so much that after he was stabbed, that's the store he ran back to. The motherfuckers that gave him up for death. All right, so next point I want to make is, I kept telling people, he's running, he's bleeding out. And then I also tried to make it known that because of that neck wound, there's a good chance that he just wasn't going to make it. People wanted to come up with all different type of ways that he could have made it if the store manager would have did something. The only thing the store could have did different to save Junior's life was to not let him go. Once they let them motherfuckers grab Junior out of that store, it was a wrap. It just was a wrap. That's what it is at that point. He wasn't going to make it. The next wound was mortal. Did you hear what they said? Mortal. That means that you have an injury that they can't fix. You're mortally wounded. You understand? That was an unfixable wound. And the fact that Junior came back and said he needed a glass of water proves he was dying and dying fast. Because you know what happens right before you die? If you've ever, I hate to bring movies up, but there's a reason, there's one thing that a lot of movies get right. And that's when people ask for water right before they die. Because especially when they're bleeding out and their body is becoming dehydrated at an alarming rate. And it's calling for fucking water, hydration. He wasn't gonna make it to the hospital, and he wasn't gonna survive till the EMS got there. It just wasn't gonna happen. Very sorry to say. I tried not to make these videos emotionally. And it has nothing to do with whether I care or not what happened to this boy, because I care. It has nothing to do with whether I am denouncing or, not denouncing a gang. These dudes that did what they did, I'm not talking about the whole entire gang. Because you know what's the next step? The next step is how the racist is going to just say, oh, it's all Dominicans. That's the next step. You understand what I'm saying? So for everybody that's like, oh, it's all gangs, or even for everybody that's saying it's this entire gang, remember the next step, especially if you're a Dominican person, the next step is to say it's all Dominicans. And if you're a Spanish-speaking person, the next step is to say, because, you know, a lot of people, they don't know the difference between a Mexican or a Dominican or a Puerto Rican or somebody from Brazil, you know, that speaks Portuguese. If you speak any kind of iteration of Spanish, you're Spanish. For whatever the reason is, you're the language you speak. And people from Spain are not Spaniards. Spanish, by the way, they're Spaniards. There's a difference. Because you know that there's somebody listening to me that's gonna try to put that argument in the in the comments. That's the next step. What people fail to realize is now they're saying get rid of the Mexicans. What do you think is gonna be next? Get rid of the Puerto Ricans. Get rid of the Dominicans. They already yelling at people. This is America. Speak English. What do you think is next? Don't do the fucking racist work for them. It's whatever else the gang is involved in, whatever else the Trinis is involved in, just in general. This is a case of killing a young boy. Let's not lose focus. Please, let's not let the police lose focus. If he got killed because one gang was rivaling against another gang, then okay, I could accept that. But if he got killed for some other reason and they want to use the one gang rivaling against another gang so they could start putting people in jail that had absolutely nothing to do with this shit, that I'm not riding with. I'm not cool with that. You shouldn't be cool with that either. I understand people are emotionally connected to this case. I'm not trying to defend any gang. But what I'm saying is that if we all become torch-wielding, pitchfork-holding, freaking masses chasing Frankenstein, then we all lose our minds. The last point that I want to make is probably a point that I've made and I've stressed already, but I just want to bring this up one more time. If they really were rivaling a gang, and I mean, I don't know how much of that I believe. They could have just been out on the street looking for a target and he was an easy one. I kind of believe that a little bit easier than I believe if they were rivaling a gang. Remember, these guys got away, found out that they was getting searched for, had time to make up the story. Don't forget about that. So, I don't believe they was rivaling a gang because one of the main things that homegirl said at the end, that the gang that they were rivaling, that they were going after, that they supposedly was fighting, they don't be in that area of the Bronx. So why would they think this random person, obviously wearing night clothes, he had on shorts, a shirt, and some slides, would be in another gang's territory? You understand? Like, that don't make sense. That sounds made up. I'm not saying that they weren't already arguing, they weren't already warring with the other gang, faction of their gang. I'm not saying that that's not what was happening. What I'm saying is, I don't believe that this happened due to that. I believe that this is just someone changing the narrative so they could make a career, or allowing the narrative to change, by the way, so they could make a career, because this is a career case, y'all. This case is going to get somebody elected to positions, whether it be mayor, whether it be a council person, whether it be in a Senate seat. This case is going to get somebody elected somewhere. This case is going to help somebody become the next commissioner. This case, I'm telling you. Please, let's not lose focus. Let's get these people in jail that did this specific crime. And we worry about the rest of the shit later. That's all I got on this one. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I'm out. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you would like to help dictate the direction that this channel takes, please leave a comment. All comments are appreciated, whether positive or negative. Thank you very much and enjoy your day. And remember, positive thoughts cause for positive things to happen. Let's get it.